What's up, you guys? Welcome back, and if you're new, thank you so much for being here. Today's video is going to be medium prison versus maximum security prison. There are a lot of differences between the two, so I'm going to break all that down for you. Before we get started, just know that I'm not glorifying prison. I'm not proud that I went to prison. I'm proud of overcoming a lot of things, but the whole purpose of this video is to just shed light on my experience and to share that with you guys. So please go into this video with an open heart and an open mind. I also just like telling you guys my life and telling you guys my experiences. So hopefully you enjoy this video. Now, I have been in a medium security prison and a maximum security prison, and now this is just my personal take on it. This is just the prison that I went to. Maybe your experience was different than mine. So when I went to a medium security prison, I was pregnant with my daughter, Micah, who you guys have seen in other videos. You hear me talk about her a lot. You also hear me talking about my pregnant and prison journey, which I will put in the description box down below. So I went to a medium security prison, and now a lot of people that would get sent to the medium security prisons, they could be sick, they could have some terminal illness, or they could be really, really old. I will say that not all senior citizens go to medium security. That's just not how it is, but we will get there. So I went there when I was pregnant, and I saw a lot of things that I was like, wow, they don't even know how lucky they are. Like, this is a blessing, you guys. So the number one thing that is different in my experience with medium security is lights. Now, this was my pet peeve in maximum security. In a medium security prison, the lights would come on at 8 a.m. Like, that's amazing. That's amazing, 8 a.m. And now you have to keep in mind that prison lights are hostile. They're really bright, they're fluorescent lighting, and they're all across the dorm. And they're just really like, they're aggressive and in your face. Now, the lights came on in a maximum security prison at 5 a.m. Maybe a little bit earlier, I'm not exactly sure, but about 5 a.m., those bright lights would come on. And that just really irritated me. It was hostile. So I would try to sleep with a thing over my eyes, whether it was a brand new sock that I got, or I would try to make things like sleeping masks, which I still use to this day. However, certain guards would not let you have that on your face. So they would just come by and like, oh, Kent, let me get that. And they'd take it from you because it's not the intended purpose. So if you have an item that is state issued, or you got on commissary and you change it and alter it, that is called contraband. So they would take that from me. Other guards wouldn't care. So in the medium security prison, on the weekends, they would turn the lights on at like 10 a.m. Like, that's unheard of in a maximum security prison. They don't care. They don't care if it's the weekend, weekday, your birthday, Jesus' birthday. They don't care. Those lights are coming on at 5 a.m. and they're hostile, like I said. I think a lot of people that haven't been in prison don't truly understand when you get stripped of everything, even the ability to turn on the light, it messes with you. However, we're very adaptable humans, right? So I just kind of got used to it, just like you guys are used to turning on a light switch in your own home, right? Okay, number two. The chow hall. So when I was at this medium security prison, it's Wrightsville in Arkansas. When I was at Wrightsville, the food was actually decent, which kind of makes me irritated with myself because I remember being there and thinking the food was horrible. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. However, I got kicked out of this medium security prison after I gave birth to my daughter because I got into a fight that is somewhere on my channel. Scroll through if you want to watch it. I'll try to put it on the card up here, but it is kind of old. So I got into a fight and I got kicked out. But in the medium security, there were men on this compound too, and the men worked in the kitchen. And I don't know what it was, I don't know why, but they just made the food so much better. I remember having grits in the morning, and I only got up for breakfast when I was pregnant because your girl would rather starve than eat breakfast at 4:30 in the morning. But they would make these grits, which I never knew that I liked, but they would make grits with like this cinnamon sugar butter that was so good. It basically tasted like cream of wheat if you've never had grits before. Delicious, bomb, so good. I would recreate that if I knew how to cook grits in the street, but I don't. So the maximum security prisons are bland. They didn't use any salt. It was only women on this compound. It was McPherson that I was at, and it was just terrible. They would take beans, like, I'm not sure what kind of beans they were, just like straight beans out of the can, and put them on your tray. And they would serve this thing called meat wad. It's exactly what it sounds like, you guys. Unidentifiable meat in a ball, and it looked disgusting, and I could never eat it. And then they served this thing called mackerel, Jack Mac, and it would be in like the shape of a hockey puck, and it looked like there was like, I don't even want to, like, hair fibers in it. It just looked so creepy. Like, the texture of it was super, super gross. And then they served this mackerel with apple crisp. So everyone would go to the chow hall for apple crisp because it was something sweet and something that they liked to get. However, I literally couldn't stand being there because the smell of the mackerel was so strong and so intense that it would make me sick to my stomach. And to this day, I will not eat apple crisp because of it. I would have girls trying to pay me to go to the chow hall just to give them my apple crisp. And I'm like, guys, you don't understand. I will literally throw up. I cannot stand the smell of this mackerel. It was strong and fishy, and I can still smell it, you guys. I can still smell it. It's disgusting. So let that be a lesson to all of you. Do not commit crimes because you're gonna eat Jack Mac. Ugh. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so in a maximum security prison, we did not have daily rec, technically. We did not get to go to rec outside every single day. Going outside was a rarity and it was a treat, unless you lived in housing unit 3 or housing unit 3, that was kind of outside. However, in a maximum security prison, we had a gym and rec was just going to the gym, the indoor gym. And I just didn't understand the point of it. I would go just to get out of the barracks, but I also really hated it. So you could play basketball, maybe volleyball. There would be these workout things like a yoga mat and like a bounce ball, like, you know, like the workout balls. There'd be that, but I really couldn't stand it. It was loud. Sometimes you get stuck in there. Sometimes people would fight in there. And if they're pepper sprayed, when you're in a condensed area like that, there's no like air circulating. If someone gets pepper sprayed, it just spreads to everyone and it's irritating. So I just wouldn't want to go. I would go occasionally, like I said, to get out of the barracks or to hang out with my friend Hollywood. She was in a different barracks than I was, but we were in the same housing unit. So you do things by housing unit. In the medium security prison, we would go outside every single day because they had to give us rec and they didn't have a gym inside. So that was like, oh, amazing, we can go outside. And I remember going outside every single day because I wanted fresh air. I wanted to get out of that gray, sad housing unit. I just wanted to see the sky. I wanted to walk around and have fresh air, and that just meant everything to me. Also, in the medium security prison, the chow hall was outside. So every single day, 3 times a day, we got to walk outside too. And that was just a luxury that I did not take for granted one single day that I was there. I was so grateful to go outside, so grateful to smell fresh air, to see birds flying around. I mean, I was just so grateful for the little things. Like, you guys take for granted, if you've never been to prison, you take for granted being able to walk outside. So that was just, to me, the most amazing thing ever. And what I wanted when I was in prison was to be able to walk outside at night and just see the stars and see the moon and have that crisp, cold air at night. So, you know, miss that a lot. Okay, maximum security prison, commissary. So maximum security prison, in my experience, the commissary is a lot more limited than it was in the medium security. There was also like a $60 limit. While I was there, they didn't increase that to a $100 limit. But in a maximum security prison, basic stuff. Basic stuff. Chips, noodles, which I call soups. Also, on the ramen noodle pack, it says ramen noodle soups, you guys. I get so much crap because I say soups and they're noodles. Look on the package, it says soups. Anyway, maximum security prison, the commissary or canteen, whatever you call it, is really limited. So you could get ice cream also on commissary at both facilities, and it's something that, like, if you had classes or you had to go back to work, you'd have to eat it really fast, and I would eat it really fast when I could afford it and could get it. I'd get brain freeze and it would suck, but like I wanted ice cream so bad because I wanted something cold to eat, or like ice water, like a cold drink. That's why I carry bottles of water everywhere I go, or something cold to drink, because I didn't have a cold drink for 2.5 years. You get like lukewarm water or like this really diluted Kool-Aid with no sugar in it at some facilities. Like, oh, it's disgusting. You don't want to drink it. Okay, maximum security prison where I was at had Ho Squad. If you have not seen that video, I will link it on the card up here. They now call it Field Squad. When I was there, they called it Ho Squad. It's basically like chain gang, and they line you all up. It's crazy. I got cuts in my hand. Really interesting video, so definitely go check that out if you've not seen that already. In the medium security prison, Field Squad was like picking weeds, like planting vegetables and stuff. It like literally was awesome. I mean, you could just do whatever and you'd walk around and you'd chit chat and you'd do some things outside in the workshop. I mean, it wasn't intense and it was like a normal gig. I mean, I was not on that. I didn't have field. I was in laundry, which I've always done in prison, which was laundry, which is probably why I detest laundry now to this day. But yeah, they would plant stuff and it was like so laid back. And then women would complain about that. And I'm like, you guys, women right now in McPherson are literally cutting their freaking hands up because they're on Ho Squad, they're on chain gang. Like, Plant the dang vegetables, Linda. I don't know anyone named Linda, but you know what I'm saying. Classes. The maximum security prison would have more classes. However, there's more people on that compound, so it was a lot harder to get into classes. They had thinking errors, anger management, things like that. Then they'd have drug barracks programs, which I will make an entire video on. So the classes, like I said, there are more of them. They do NA, they do AA, which they did at medium security as well, but I'll get there. They had more classes, but it was a lot harder to get into those classes because it's a huge compound. And I think that was really frustrating. You'd be on a waiting list to try to get into a class for a long time, and you just have to suck it up and just wait. You also had to be a class 1C. Now, if you got in trouble and went to SEG and then came out, you were a class 4, and over time, if you didn't get in trouble, you have to earn your way back up to a 1C to have the ability to go to a class or go to GED class or things like that. You had to earn those things. And that always was kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest, because you can get written up for the tiniest things. If you give someone a soup, you can get written up for that. It's called trafficking and trading. Ridiculous, right? So you could get written up for talking in the hallway, just tiny little petty things. And I think a lot of the officers at this facility, at the maximum security facility, would just wait for you to say one thing and write you up. I mean, it was just really tough. A lot of the guards would bully you, pick on you. Some guards just didn't like you and they'd have it out for you, and everything you did, they'd write you up for. So I had a lot of minor disciplinaries. I also had a couple of majors as well, like getting into that fight. It just is part of it. It's part of going to prison. You try to keep your head down. You try to not get in trouble. But it's just the name of the game. You're just gonna get in trouble for something. It's literally how it is. Just how it is. Just if you're ever gonna go to prison, if you ever find yourself in that horrible situation, just expect to get yelled at and get in trouble for really petty things that you would think are not a big deal, like giving someone a soup. Okay, so I do wanna talk a little bit about senior citizens in prison and dying in prison, because this is a real thing, you guys. I have seen really old people in wheelchairs or walkers struggling, literally like fighting their own bodies just to walk all the way down to the chow hall, wheeling down to the chow hall, eating, getting the same 15 minutes as I got to eat. Now, I love older people. Oh, it's gonna make me cry, dang it. I love senior citizens. I love them. I think they're adorable. I love hearing their stories, and this broke my heart. These older women have been in prison 20 years, 30 years, and they will die there. And it's just a really heartbreaking thing to see. It's a heartbreaking thing to see senior citizens struggling to eat or struggling just to get around on the compound. You had to move. You couldn't just sit in your rack and someone was just gonna bring you a tray. That didn't happen. It did happen in medium security prison. I did see that. This one lady had cancer really, really bad, and they would take her out for chemotherapy and bring her back. She was able to get a tray in the unit because she like literally couldn't walk. It was just a really tough situation. So I did see certain senior citizens that were really, really ill be transferred down to a lower security so that they had a little bit more help. And when I say a little bit more help, no one's gonna come into the unit to change your diaper. I mean, I know a lot of senior citizens have issues with their bladder. No one's gonna help you with that. No one cares. And I would see some really cruel things happen to senior citizens in there. And I know they broke the law. I know that they, you know, they maybe deserve to be there the rest of their life. Maybe they were really violent. Maybe they took a life. I understand that. However, they are human beings. They're human beings, and that broke my heart to see that. And a lot of them just seemed kind of defeated, like, this is my life, whatever. Others tried to have a tough outer demeanor, but at certain moments, I'm a people watcher, certain moments I would see them just be frustrated with things. You know, they're humans like anyone else. So I would always like to talk to lifers. They have a great story, and I kind of got along well with lifers. I got along with people that were older than me my entire life. So I'm gonna end it here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you took something from this video, and I just want you to know that it does not pay. Crime does not pay. Prison is not cool. Prison is a horrible place. But if you ever find yourself in that situation, maybe my videos can help. Okay, we're gonna end it here. Stay safe, stay sober, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.